Gastrodon has just been revealed for the upcoming set Surging Sparks, and its ability Sticky Bind is sure to create some sticky situations. While Gastrodon's on the bench, it's going to shut off the abilities of all Stage 2 Pokemon in play, yours and the opponent's. There are a lot of Stage 2 dependent decks in the current meta, things like Gardevoir EX, Lugia V-Star, who really likes Archeops, Chin-Pao, who really likes Baxcalibur, and of course the biggest one, Charizard EX, who relies on itself, Pidgeot EX, and Dusknoir. Both of which are, well, Stage 2 Pokemon, and honestly, I'm thrilled we finally have a solid counter card for Dusknoir, besides just Enamorous V, who only helps Psychic decks, and realistically, did you even know that card exists? Probably not, nobody's playing that. One of the biggest strengths of the Gastrodon though is that it's a Stage 1 Pokemon, so you can easily get this out on your first turn of the game if you go second, by using something like Evolution TM to potentially shut down your opponent's game plan before they even get a chance to evolve up. While the quick setup and the ability to shut down those decks does sound really strong, there are ways to play around Gastrodon though. The ability only works while it's on the bench, so your opponent could just gust it up into the active spot, turning their Stage 2 Pokemon's abilities back on, but you can do this too. So if you run Stage 2 Pokemon, you can just switch Gastrodon into the active on your turn, use your Stage 2's ability, then switch Gastrodon back to the bench. The other way to get around it though is you could just put your Stage 2 into the active spot, since it only shuts off benched Stage 2 Pokemon. So your opponent could use something like Dusknoir, having it in the active, it knocks itself out, it puts 13 damage counters onto your bench Gastrodon, and then because it's knocked out, they get to choose a new Pokemon to put into the active, while kind of getting around your Gastrodon. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Pidgeot EX also having Free Retreat means that they can easily put this into the active spot, use its ability, and then just pivot into something like a Charmeleon or a Charmander, then they evolve that up into a Charizard EX to get the energy out onto it. So Gastrodon isn't a foolproof counter card. To help fix the issue though, you could pair it with something like Fluttermane that shuts off your opponent's active Pokemon's abilities, so Gastrodon will cover the bench and Fluttermane's just going, yeah, even if you go into the active, I don't care. You don't have abilities. Or you could even use Iron Thorn's EX. Since it's a basic Pokemon, its ability would be online while Gastrodon's out, and it's going to be shutting down your opponent's Rule Box abilities while it's in the active spot, and Gastrodon's covering their single pride Stage 2s. Gastrodon feels like a pretty well-balanced card for the format, almost like a pseudo Path to the Peak reprint, but having it on a Pokemon, with some extra pros and some cons associated with it. It's targeting single prize Pokemon too, which is a pretty good trade-off, but it's only going to shut down Stage 2s. I'm excited to see how this shakes up the format, but what about you? Are you cooking up new decks, or are you going to be trying to come up with ways to counter this now that